Have you ever wondered why some people crumble under adversity while others use it as a stepping stone to overcome? It's a question that has puzzled philosophers, psychologists, and everyday people alike for centuries. Adversity, in its myriad forms, is a universal human experience. It's as varied as we are, striking in the form of personal setbacks, professional challenges, or even global crises. Yet, despite its universality, our reactions to adversity are anything but uniform. For some, adversity is an insurmountable roadblock, a crushing weight that brings progress to a halt. For others, it's a trial by fire, a challenge to be tackled head-on. These individuals don't just endure adversity, they harness it, using it as a catalyst for growth and transformation. Adversity, then, is not just an obstacle to be overcome, but a potential source of strength, a hidden wellspring of resilience and resourcefulness. In the face of adversity, some people find their greatest strength. Scene script. Consider this: two people stuck in traffic after a long day at work. One person is fuming, the other is calm. Why the difference? Let's dive a little deeper. The first person, let's call him John, is trapped in his car, cursing every red light and every slow driver in front of him. He thinks about all the time he's losing, the dinner growing cold at home, the precious moments with his family slipping away. His heart is pounding, his hands are gripping the steering wheel, and he's on the verge of losing his temper. In his world, this traffic jam is a catastrophe. Now let's look at the other person, Sarah. She's also stuck in the same traffic, but her experience is entirely different. She's calm, her heart rate is normal, and there's a smile on her face. She's listening to an audiobook, learning something new and interesting. For her, this delay is not a disaster, but an opportunity to learn, to relax, to unwind. In her world, this traffic jam is a blessing in disguise. What separates John and Sarah is not the situation they're in, it's their perspective on it. John sees the traffic as an obstacle, a hindrance, something that's stealing his time and ruining his day. Sarah, on the other hand, sees the same traffic as a chance to do something she loves, to learn, to grow, to enrich herself. She's turned a frustrating situation into a productive one. You see, perspective is like a lens through which we view the world. It shapes our experiences, our emotions, and our reactions. It's the difference between seeing a roadblock or a stepping stone, a setback or a comeback, a problem or an opportunity. The power of perspective, then, is the power to redefine our reality. It's the power to transform adversity into advantage, frustration into fulfillment, and challenges into chances for growth. It's the power to turn the ordinary into the extraordinary, the mundane into the meaningful, and the everyday into the exceptional. With the right perspective, adversity can become an opportunity. Imagine two mountain climbers, both attempting to scale the same peak. One views the climb as an insurmountable challenge, the other as an exhilarating adventure. Let's delve into this tale. Meet climber 1, who sees every rock and crevice as a potential hindrance, every gust of wind as a threat to his progress. His heart races, not with excitement, but with fear. He doubts his abilities, and this mountain, this seemingly insurmountable challenge, looms larger with every step he takes. His focus is not on the journey but on the intimidating destination. His path is fraught with anxiety and trepidation, and every setback is magnified in his mind. On the other hand, we have climber 2, who sees the same mountain, the same rocks, the same gusts of wind, but his perspective is vastly different. He embraces the challenge. Every rock is a stepping stone, every gust of wind an invigorating reminder of the wild nature he's immersed in. His heart races too, but with the thrill of adventure. He acknowledges the peak, but he relishes the journey. Every step, every breath, every heartbeat is a testament to his strength and resilience. The setbacks? He sees them as opportunities to learn, to grow, to become a better version of himself, and so they climb. Climber 1, burdened by his perspective, struggles, stumbles, and often contemplates giving up. Climber 2, however, with his positive attitude and determination, steadily ascends, breathes in the beauty around him, and cherishes each moment of the journey. You see, both climbers face the exact same physical challenge. The mountain doesn't change. The wind doesn't favor one over the other. The difference lies in their attitudes. One sees adversity and fears it, while the other sees adversity and embraces it. One is stopped by the challenge while the other is fueled by it. So what's the crux of this tale? It's simple, really. It's not the adversity that defines us, but how we respond to it. Adversity doesn't stop us. It's our attitude towards it that can. Scene script. Have you heard about the famous author who was rejected by dozens of publishers before achieving success? That's J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling, the author of the beloved Harry Potter series, is a shining example of turning setbacks into comebacks. But her story was not always one of success. Before the world knew her name, she was just another writer facing rejection after rejection. She was told that her work was not good enough, that her ideas were not marketable. Rowling was a single mother, struggling to make ends meet, when she first began writing the story of a young wizard named Harry Potter. She wrote in cafes, using napkins and scraps of paper, fueled by a dream and the belief in her story. Despite the hardships, she persevered, finishing her manuscript and sending it to publishers. But the rejections came in, one after another. Some publishers told her that children's books about wizards were not in demand. Others simply didn't see the potential in her work. Yet, Rowling didn't give up. She didn't let the setbacks define her or her story. Instead, she used the rejections as fuel. She used them to strengthen her resolve to keep pushing forward. She knew in her heart that her story was worth telling. And she was right. After countless rejections, Rowling finally found a publisher willing to take a chance on her story. The rest, as they say, is history. Today, J.K. Rowling is one of the most successful authors in the world. Her books have sold millions of copies, been translated into multiple languages, and inspired a generation of readers. They've been turned into blockbuster movies and even a theme park. So, what can we learn from Rowling's journey? That setbacks are not the end of the road. They are merely detours, challenges to overcome. They are opportunities for growth, for learning, for becoming stronger. They are the stepping stones on the path to success. Remember, a setback is just a setup for a comeback. Resilience is not just about bouncing back, it's about bouncing forward stronger and wiser. And that's the key to turning adversity into a strength. Picture this, a tree in the midst of a violent storm. The winds howl, the rain beats down, and yet, the tree stands tall and firm. Why? Because over its lifetime, it has weathered countless storms, each one strengthening its roots and reinforcing its trunk. This is resilience in the natural world. Now let's bring it closer to home. Think of a child learning to ride a bike. She stumbles, falls, scrapes her knees. But each time she gets back up, dusts herself off, and tries again. And with each fall, she learns something new. How to balance, how to steer, how to pedal. Her resilience turns each setback into a stepping stone towards her ultimate goal. And it's the same with us. Every challenge we face, every hardship we endure, they all serve a purpose. They teach us valuable lessons about ourselves and the world around us. They push us to grow, to adapt, to innovate. They force us to dig deep, to find reserves of strength and courage we never knew we had. It's like lifting weights at the gym. The strain, the struggle, the sweat, they're all part of the process. And the result? Stronger muscles, greater endurance, better health. That's the power of resilience. But remember, resilience is not a trait that some people have and others don't. It's not a fixed attribute, but rather a muscle that we all have the capacity to develop and strengthen. It's about embracing adversity, not avoiding it. It's about recognizing that each setback is a setup for a comeback. So when life throws you a curveball, don't just swing at it, knock it out of the park. Use it as an opportunity to grow, to learn, to become the best version of yourself. Because remember, resilience is not just surviving adversity, it's thriving in spite of it. Adversity is a fact of life, but it doesn't have to be a roadblock. Instead, it can be a stepping stone, a launching pad for your greatest victories. In the face of adversity, perspective becomes your compass, guiding you through the storm. It's about viewing the mountain not as an obstacle but as a challenge to be conquered, a peak to be reached. The tale of the two mountain climbers taught us that attitude makes all the difference. It's not about the setbacks we face but the comebacks we make. It's about turning every stumble into a dance move, every failure into a lesson. And finally, resilience is our silent warrior. It's the strength that keeps us going when everything else tells us to give up, the power that transforms adversity into advantage. So, let's embrace the challenges, shift our perspectives, and rise stronger from the ashes of adversity. Remember, the greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall.